Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I travel to Rio de Janeiro for a work opportunity. Days go by and I try to settle in. One day my co-workers suggest we all go to a bar. The place is actually pretty cool, despite the prices. When it gets late, everyone starts leaving, but I stay behind. Now I'm just alone among strangers. A couple approaches me, completely drunk and high. "Hey buddy, can you drive us?" "Why not?" I get in the car and they give me the address. I drive, occasionally asking for landmarks. The two of them keep chatting the whole time. I listen to all kinds of nonsense the whole way, but keep my mouth shut. Finally, I arrive. They live in an upscale neighborhood. I park the car and we get out. The guy puts 300 reais in my hand, $50 at the current exchange rate. Then he asks me to save my number in his phone. No way am I putting my real name, so I enter a fake one, Ian. I'm surprised, and I order an Uber while the two of them stumble into the house. A few days passed after that, and I hadn't received any calls in the meantime, until a Friday night when my phone rang and I realized it was him. I barely answered, and he just asked if I was available to drive. I started getting drugs for him, and sometimes even hookers. It didn't matter. After a while, I was making more money driving around and picking things up for Gerard, I'll call him that, than I earned at my honest job. I'd been in Rio for 4 months by then, and I was waiting for his calls almost every night. But I went nearly a whole week without hearing a word from Gerard. Until the following week, when he called me on a Sunday morning. He wanted me to drive him and his girlfriend to his family's ranch, apparently for some celebration. It didn't really matter. I went to his place and we got in the car. The trip took so long it felt like a damn odyssey. The whole way there, the two of them kept asking me all sorts of questions about myself. I kept giving evasive, lying answers with a hint of apathy. When we arrived, he paid me 2,000 reais up front. My crappy wallet barely had room for that many bills. But nothing good comes without some disaster following close behind. Since I had to drive him back, I also had to stay there until the next day when everyone else was leaving. I was at this damn ranch with nothing to do, surrounded by eccentric rich people that I felt something was off the first time I saw them. Try to hand the car keys to Gerard, but he refuses and tells me to keep them since I'll be driving back tomorrow. Okay. The place seemed a bit bizarre, with a main house, a cabin, and a pretty large chapel. But the worst part was that there wasn't much to do. Gerard and his girl, I'd nicknamed them John and Yoko, spent the day smoking weed in secret. I spent the whole day being stared at by the others. Sometimes it felt like they were constantly watching me. I could feel it even when I went to smoke somewhere further away. Night falls. They ask where I want to stay. I say I'll stay in the caretaker's cabin. They think I'm an idiot for wanting to stay somewhere far from the main house, but they agree. I can't sleep and keep thinking about leaving.
I've only got a short one. A year ago, I was driving home from my now ex-girlfriend's house, who lives an hour away from me. It was around 2:30 a.m., and I was listening to some podcast. The route I take home after pulling off the interstate is basically a bunch of back roads without any streetlights, so aside from my headlights, it was pitch black. As I made a turn, off in the distance, my headlights caught some flesh-shaped blob that seemed to be floating from right to left. And before I could even question what I just witnessed, my headlights caught it again on the left side of the street. I was driving at like 30 miles per hour, so I could brake in time to not hit anything, and I saw that the thing I saw was a man. He had a bald head, but a hairy body, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. Not like Sasquatch-level hairy, just a typical middle-aged man amount. He kind of looked like Pickerel. It was dark enough that he might have been completely naked, and I was just barely spared the sight of his junk. He still seemed to be gliding along the ground, his body language not seeming to correlate with his movement. He was only in my headlights for a split second. After driving about 100 feet away was my next turn, and as I slowed down for my turn, I stopped and looked in my rearview mirror to see if he was still there. Like I said before, it was completely dark outside except for my headlights, so I saw nothing. Then I realized I probably shouldn't stick around and find out what his deal is, so I floored it and got the hell away from him. I don't think he was a spook. I'm positive he was just a meth head, out for a meth head's idea of an evening stroll. But it was still really unsettling when it happened. The guy moved around so unnaturally. This experience is also one of the things that inspired me to finally start carrying too. Same anon. This story, while it was scary to me at the time, is pretty mundane when I tell it now. But I do have one experience from when I was a child that's a bit creepier and less explainable. I was 9 years old, if I remember correctly. It was summertime, and my dad was in the hospital because of complications with diabetes. Since there was no school, I was up super late. I was in the living room with my mom and little sister, who had fallen asleep on the couch together. I wanted to stay up and watch TV, but whenever I turned the TV on, my mom got mad at me and told me to go to bed. I wasn't tired in the slightest, so I just tried to wait until my mom was in deep enough sleep where I could turn on the TV and watch it at a low enough volume where she wouldn't yell at me. And while I was sitting there, it was so quiet, ear-ringingly quiet. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I heard clear as day the sound of my dad cackling like a maniac. Imagine Vincent Price's evil laugh from Thriller. It 100% was my dad's voice. But he was still at the hospital overnight, so it wasn't him. And I know I wasn't dreaming. I don't know if it was my mind playing a trick on me, or if it was some kind of spirit trying to taunt me. It didn't wake up my mom or sister, so whatever it was probably didn't originate from the physical plane. I never mentioned it to my dad when he came home, and he's no longer with us, so I won't get the chance.
Have a story to contribute for once. It's been about 17 years since it happened, but some of the stories in this thread jogged my memory. Plus, I haven't shared one for years. Be me, 17, Northwest New Jersey, senior in high school. Weekly Friday tradition after classes are over is to hang out at the school football game with friends, get food, and drive around back roads to explore whatever looked cool that night. Got the weird NJ book for Christmas a year before. An older friend would drive us to haunted places around North Jersey once a month before we got our driver's licenses. Early October. Decided to go down Shades of Death Road this time around after the football game. Read a small story passage that there's another haunted road just off Shades of Death called Lenape Lane. Light orbs apparently chase off people if you linger there too much. Drive down it with a high school friend. Pure dirt and impacted gravel road. Come to a small shack that sits on a fork in the road. From what we can tell, there are only 2 houses on each side of the fork. No semblance of lights on it either. Not even sure people live in them. Low wind speeds. No other noises other than leaves rustling. Nothing is happening. We're walking around for about 5 minutes. Decide to leave. As I'm putting the key in my car to turn it on, gigantic lights flash, bang us in the side and rear mirror. Imagine the front side of a giant train with like 5 or 6 primary white lights facing forward. Freaking out because my windows were cracked, and it's completely silent except for the wind. If it was a pickup truck, we'd sure hear it from way far away. Peeling out a little and slipping on the dirt, just trying to get away from the lights. I'm going like 50 down the dirt road that should be taken at 20 miles per hour max. almost coming back to Shades of Death Road. Try to hit the brakes, but going way too fast to stop. Hope to God no car is coming because they will 100% T-bone me. Thankfully, it's laid out and no one's on the road. Hang a sharp left and start going back up Shades of Death. Pull up about 500 feet and look back to see what was chasing us. Nothing came out of Lenape Lane. No truck, no car, no disgruntled farmer on a tractor. Nothing. Only time in my life I genuinely thought I had upset some ancient spirit or something. Attached a picture of a Google Earth screenshot from 2007. Blue line is Shades of Death Road. Red is Lenape Lane. Black circle is the shed we stopped at. That's the end of the story. Nothing bad or weird happened after, but I genuinely have no explanation for the lights rushing towards us, completely silent. I would drive there again, but apparently the farm is owned by some annoying, sustainable living couple. I couldn't find any sales data prior to 2015, but it looks like they turned the property and the two old houses into a farm in like 2021 or 2022.
Be me. Going to a national park in a desert with my family, father and two brothers, at the crack of dawn. Driving around to different parts of the park for little hikes. Dad takes us to see some Native American petroglyphs. A bunch of signs about telling us we're not supposed to, and that the place is closed. Dad says that they don't want tourists knowing about the petroglyphs and messing them up, having second thoughts, but not strong enough to do anything about it. He shows us the petroglyphs. See a man painted in red, and above him a shadowy thing which is hard to make out. Looks to me like the silhouette of a man wearing a war bonnet while wielding a gunstock war club. Leave the petroglyph area. A minute or so later, hear a bunch of coyotes howling. Oldest brother says it sounds like they're trying to locate a pup separated from the rest of the pack. Do coyotes even do that? Dad says that it sounds like people imitating coyotes very skillfully, rather than actual coyotes. At dawn during the off-season, they comment that coyotes probably wouldn't want to reveal their location in the desert. Is that really true? Do they have any predators there? So it must take a big problem for them to howl like that, like a pup missing. Wonder if it could be a nagual or skinwalker. Those beings are known for transforming into coyotes, but this place is a little off from where those legends take place. After a little while, the howls die down. We go about our day with no more spooky stuff happening. A few days later, Dad says it must have been coyotes. Oldest brother says that you would have had to have like a group skilled in animal imitation, all gathered in the park at the crack of dawn during the off-season. It doesn't make sense for the sounds we heard to be imitators. Everyone agrees that you would have needed incredible skill. I wonder what that was.
Stalked and toyed with by something or someone lurking in the dark. This happened a year or so ago. I never post on 4chan, so cut me some slack. Be me. Friends and I decide to go explore a pretty big abandoned hotel from the 1930s that shut down a few years ago. Be at night around 11 p.m. The building is at the end of a barely inhabited road. Shit's pretty isolated and in the woods. We climb on old gas pipes and hop on a ledge to access one of the roofs. Find a busted window that's been barricaded from the inside with a pile of old furniture. I kick down the furniture tower and we get in. The inside of the hotel smells like mold, and there's a bunch of debris everywhere on the floor. Clear signs of squatter activity. We start going room to room and just exploring and messing around. All filter into one room to see some random bullshit. A guy and his girlfriend from our group kinda stay in the back near the room entrance since we're like 8 people, and the space is pretty cramped. Not even 2 to 3 minutes after all getting in, the dude's girlfriend asks, "Hey, who put this here?" Go look. There's a 3-foot-tall plastic bunny duster that's been placed dead center in the middle of the hallway right next to the room we just entered. Shit's standing precariously on its long-ass feet. Wish I had taken a pic of that thing. But it was basically a cheap novelty duster designed as a cartoon rabbit, and its long, stuck-together feet acted as the duster handle, if that makes any sense. Immediately start calling out the 2 friends that were near the room's doorway for their shitty low-tier prank. The 2 of them are adamant that they didn't put the plastic rabbit there. I don't believe them. Everyone thinks the 2 of them just tried pulling a nothing burger prank and we move on. As I trail behind, I grab the rabbit duster and shove it in an old utility closet. Eventually get down to the hotel's labyrinthine basement. Find cringe pic related, a satanic circle on the ground. Holy mother of LARP.avi. The hotel basement is really vast yet cramped. Explore for a while and eventually we decide to go back up to the main floor. Get up the basement steps, see the damn duster rabbit once again precariously propped upright, waiting for us atop the stairs. No one ever detached from the group to go upstairs while we were down there, so it definitively wasn't one of us that placed it there. Collectively crap our pantaloons when we realize our 2 friends weren't lying about not having propped up the rabbit in the hallway the first time. Realize something has been stalking us in the dark and has the ability to get inches from us without being seen in order to place this stupid plastic rabbit around. Whoever or whatever this is can navigate the dark without need of light. Without flashlights, it's completely pitch black. Windows are barred. This individual was also somehow able to be quick on their feet without ever making any noise, despite the sheer amount of debris and broken glass everywhere. We decide to immediately leave and get away from this place. Think maybe that satanic circle in the basement wasn't just for show. I don't know. Couldn't tell. I'm not an occult fan. We all swear on our moms that it wasn't one of us somehow pulling an impossible prank. The rabbit duster was 3 feet long and pretty much impossible to conceal anyways. Go back home. Have a nightmare of some deranged creep stalking us in the dark. We agreed that it was the work of either an insane squatter with near-magical stealth skills that decided to mess with us, some paranormal shit, or one of us hired Solid Snake to give us a scare or something. I don't know. I'm still split. Pic attached is another room from the basement.
Out for a bicycle ride with my best friend. Both in our mid-teens, maybe 14 or so. Decide to take a really long path just because it's 20 miles of bicycling, totaling 40 because we also got to get back home. At the end of the path is a big supermarket. The way is a little rougher than expected. The store ends up closing before we even get there. Decide to bike around the neighborhood since we've never been there before. It's out of the city, kind of rural. Feel really exhausted, dreading the way back home. Something weird clicks in my brain, and I start feeling really strong euphoria instead. Later learn this is called runner's high. While feeling this weird high, start also feeling strange emotions and fixations. Get an incredibly strong urge to take a certain path in the neighborhood. On an intersection, turning right feels like I'm killing a puppy, while going left feels like divine pleasure. Follow the positive strange urges while my friend just follows along, a little freaked out. At the end of a short path, feel an impossibly strong pull to walk into an overgrown field. Get off the bike, take 2 steps into the weeds. There's an old lady passed out face first in the dirt. Go up to her, wake her up. She's alive but moaning in pain and talking incoherently. Call 911. They pick her up and leave. The strong urges go away. Bike back home, a little shell-shocked. It happened another time. Be a little older. Start jogging for exercise. It's midwinter, late in the evening, freezing cold out. Go on a long run in the cold. Start feeling the runner's high again. Get the urges to follow a path again. Run maybe half a mile following the urges. The road leads to a cul-de-sac. There are some run-down houses. One of the houses has a porch. A little boy is sleeping on the porch without a jacket. Check up on the kid. He's shaking so badly he can't talk. Give him my jacket. He warms up a little and comes to. He got locked out and nobody is home. Call 911 and they sort it out. Another one from the same house, a couple years after the first incident. Be me, around 13 or 14 at the time, laying in bed after we'd had a 4th of July party with some family at our place. The foot of my bed faced the door. The door opens, but I can't see anybody. Assume one of my brothers is pranking me and turn the knob while crouched so I can't see him. Suddenly terrified. Want to get up and call him out. Can't bring myself to move at all. As lame as it is, that's when I hear an old woman speak very plainly. Move, and I'll fucking kill you. After a while, it passes, and I run to the bathroom across the hall and hide for a while, assuming it was sleep paralysis, but I don't remember falling asleep or waking up again after it started.
Tot/X/ just weird, and I have no idea what they were doing. Walk home from my friend's house last year. Not certain on the time, but 2 to 4 a.m. for certain because I always leave around then. The road I'm on is super busy during the day and totally dead at night. See cars parked along the road as always, but I can hear an engine idling with no one around. Look over the road and there's something wrong with this picture. Takes a couple of seconds before I realize there's a car parked at the side of another car with its lights off, which is weird because it's blocking the whole lane. But weirder is that it's facing the wrong way for that lane. It's definitely the one idling. It's a white Audi A4 with tints that can no way be road legal. Then it's as if it sees me because it suddenly revs loud and takes off at speed. Still in the wrong lane and still with no lights on. Look at the car it was next to. No one in it, and they couldn't have been trying to break into it, so I don't know what they were doing. Keep walking anyway because it's nothing to do with me. Hear the car creeping. Turn around and the Audi is coming back with its lights out, but in the right lane this time. Gets past me and turns around. Comes back the other way in the wrong lane. Keeps doing this until I turn off the street before mine because I don't want them knowing where I live. Sits idling at the top of my street until I get in the gate. Peek through a bush and see it sitting there still. Go straight through the garden and jump the back fence into my own garden. Wait in the garden. The Audi comes down and stops outside of the gate I went in. No way they can see me. Too many bushes and way too dark. It's there for a good 5 minutes with no one getting out and then slowly drives off. It really reminded me of something similar with my sister, but that was 15 years ago. The guy didn't know me and I think he's still in jail. That was a silver Audi though and was a worse experience.
This doesn't fit the thread. I just have nowhere else to post it, really. It falls into frequency bias, but I think it's too weird of a thing to be frequency bias. Flicking through some pics a week or so ago online. They're pics of places years back and now. One of them is the Flatiron Building, one of dozens in the album I've never heard of before. 10 minutes later, go to the toilet and pick up one of my many random books to keep me entertained. No clue where I was up to with it, so I just riffle the pages and stop somewhere. First sentence at the top of the page starts with, "In the Flatiron Building." Do a general knowledge quiz. One of the answers is the Flatiron Building. Recently got a new girlfriend. Out with her a couple of days ago and we see some dolphins, which turns into a conversation about her going to Florida and seeing dolphins, which turns into asking if I've been to America. I haven't. She has a few times, including when she went to New York and took pics of the Flatiron building. Go on Wikipedia just now. Homepage has a Did You Know It section. Very first entry is the Flatiron building. Sorry bros, but I don't buy it. It's too specific of a thing to be frequency bias. This isn't like seeing the number 23 and then seeing it again. Numbers are used all the time. The Flatiron building isn't.
Got a short one. Not that interesting, but it's something. Happened a few years ago. Go on a road trip with a friend. Decide we want to camp in Alabama Hills, old Western movie set area in Northern California. Find a first-come, first-served camp spot with a small fire pit. Very secluded area. Next closest spot is 5 to 10 minute drive on off-road terrain. Set up tent, start fire, and have a few drinks. Eventually get too cold and tired to stay out anymore. Put out the fire and go to bed. I pass out pretty quickly, asleep for maybe 15 to 30 minutes. Friend nudges me awake, groggily asks what's up. He whispers and tells me to listen. Something is rubbing up against the tent. Sounds like there's rustling outside, walking around. Suddenly wide awake and full of adrenaline. Ask my friend how long it's been going on. He said he noticed probably 10 minutes after we went to bed. Figure it's an animal or the wind. Sounds like it's sniffing around and searching. Suddenly feel something bump my feet from outside the tent. Nope. Thinking of worst case scenarios. Get an idea. Ask my friend to hand me his car keys. Set off the car alarm. Turn it off. The rustling stops. After a few minutes, it starts again. Finally calm down enough to conclude it's an animal. Set the car alarm off again. Go outside after I turn it off. See that the fire started back up again. Go take a piss and put it back out. My friend takes a piss after I come back and returns after a few minutes. The rubbing on the tent starts up again, but I don't hear any more rustling or sounds of something moving around. Stay up for a while. Eventually go to sleep. Next morning, we saw there was a strap on the tent making the noise from the wind. Couldn't see any animal footprints, and I have no idea what bumped my foot. Thought of this bored and got paranoid about skinwalkers and other things, especially after my friend left and came back to the tent after me. Also found we were near an abandoned mine shaft and a closed-off mining tunnel. Middle of the desert at night definitely makes your mind race.
Here's a boring story which is probably explainable. Be in a shithole town deep in the bush for the summer, going to buy snacks. Decide to take a path cresting the cliff beside the lakeshore, stomping through knee-high plants littering the path. They're getting crushed with every step I take, leaving a path of my footsteps. I'm obviously the first person on that path today. Stop dead on the path. There's a full set of organs sitting in the middle of the path. Adrenaline starts pumping. The organs are obviously from a large animal. Moose, person, whatever it was. It was large, bright red. No flies, no bugs. I can't even smell it. It's noon on a summer day, and it isn't rotten at all. On my left is a steep hill thick with trees. On my right are thick trees and then the lake. Behind me is my trail. Ahead are more knee-high plants, untouched. There's no blood, no carcass, No sign of anything being dragged through there. The pile is so perfectly placed it's like it fell from directly above, surrounded by untouched plants so thick I could only see it when I was right up on it. Mentally catalog all this, trying to come up with a rational explanation. The extreme freshness suddenly makes all the warning bells in my body go off. Sprint out of there, scramble up a nearby hill, and get back on the main road. Never take any paths again for the rest of my visit.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Be me, a little 18-year-old drug addict. I love huffing. Huffing is life. Realize I can trigger hallucinations with a few words or certain movements. Start hallucinating every single time I huff. Slowly creating a whole new world behind the world made with hallucinations. Create characters with rich personas. They started talking through my friends or in shadows, clouds, music. Life is bliss. See a stingray in the sky made with some kind of ethereal fluid. Watch close. It's all signed from people who can also see it around the world. Many messages on it like a wall. Many languages. Sign it. Realize it just flies around the globe, making all of us connected. Realize there are others like me who can see. Last trip before I went to rehab. Listening to music like always and huffing. Trigger my superpower and start seeing shit. I see a shadow on the corner of the room. It was a half-built room, so no one was there ever. Realize the shadow doesn't react to me or what I say to it. She just jams to the music I have on. I can't control it. Weird. Realize I can't change its shape nor make words from it. Can't make little guys nor change its form at all. Super weird. Stop the music and ask it directly what it is and what it is doing there. I haven't seen any of her kind before. Suddenly it got angry and its white light eyes turned purple, like void purple. And it started to erratically move towards me. I wasn't scared. This is my world after all. I sit again, and it just came at me again very slowly, this time changing its shape into the form of a humanoid with one eye. It took me by my throat and lifted me from the ground. I could honestly feel all of that. It hurt like shit. Oh shit, what's going on? Why can't it touch me? Stop, I order you to fucking stop. It wouldn't budge. It got its claw and impaled my mouth, taking a purple orb from me. I felt drained, like I was lifeless. It looked at the orb when a light beam crushed its head suddenly. The orb went back inside me very, very slowly. I can hear that thing cry and screech. It was furious. I can't understand a word it's saying. I dropped the rag I was huffing with onto the ground and run away. After that, I was never the same. I had a really hard time figuring out what the shape of things were before I could manipulate them. Read some people on 4chan say that was another world that was real but overlapping with ours. It was all real. Some dude said I was fucking with their world and they sent someone to force me to stop. I look at shadows in the corner of my room from time to time and say sorry. Never do solvents anymore.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.